We are kicking off today with Vince McMahon, as it was back in January that Janelle Grant filed a lawsuit against the ex-WWE chairman with allegations of sexual abuse and trafficking. Grant's lawsuit also named John Laurinaitis and WWE as co-defendants and resulted in McMahon leaving TKO, and there's now been a massive update in the case. This week, Grant agreed to put her lawsuit on pause, but this isn't good news for McMahon, as the litigation has been paused because of a much bigger concern for the billionaire. Grant has delayed the lawsuit at the request of the U.S. Department of Justice, who have launched a federal probe into McMahon and his business operations. In a statement, Ann Callis, Grant's legal representative, said that her client will cooperate with all appropriate steps as they wait for the probe by the Justice Department to be complete. In a retaliation, Jessica Rosenberg, who is representing McMahon, said that their side remained confident Grant's claims will be proven untrue and described her as a disgruntled girlfriend. It remains to be seen what comes for McMahon, but for the time being, he doesn't have to worry about Grant's lawsuit, but as we said, that's because a bigger legal issue has been launched. This is an ongoing situation, and it may be a long time before we get any definitive answers, but we'll continue to follow these legal battles for further updates. As we all know by now, Becky Lynch's contract with WWE will expire tomorrow, but the man isn't the only notable name with a contract expiring soon. Since turning heel last month, Chad Gable has been on a roll as the harsh coach of the Alpha Academy, but his contract is also nearly at its end. Fightful Select reports that Gable's WWE contract is set to expire late next week, with no new deal reached as of now, despite his current high-profile position on TV. Sources indicate that there will be a strong push from talent in other wrestling companies to vouch for Gable should he become available, as the Olympian is well respected for his work. In addition to wrestling promotions, several MMA companies have expressed interest in booking Gable if he becomes a free agent, but whether he will or not is a different story. Gable is doing arguably the best work of his WWE run right now, but that could end in a matter of days, and if he enters free agency, odds are he won't be there for long. But what do you make of this situation? Should Gable re-sign with WWE, or try his hand in another company, or even MMA? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like we said, Becky Lynch is expected to let her contract expire later this week, but what does the former Women's World Champion have planned after that happens? On Wrestling Observer Radio, it was said that Lynch is planning an extended leave from the ring, and that it will be for a long period of time. It's hardly a surprise that Lynch isn't planning on going back on the road anytime soon, as with Seth Rollins recovering from surgery, the couple will be able to spend more time together. The couple hardly need to be earning right now, as both have amassed plenty from their roles as two of WWE's top superstars and can enjoy a well-earned break from the squared circle. After this break, it is believed by many, including those in WWE, that Lynch will sign a new contract, and she has been telling people she doesn't plan on going to AEW imminently. For the time being, though, Becky Lynch will have the chance to relax, and after years of being a top name in WWE, the man has earned some time to rest away from the road. Since the Raw after WrestleMania 40 Cryptic videos and clues have been spread across WWE platforms with the belief that this is setting up the return of Uncle Howdy. As for when Howdy will appear on WWE TV, that remains to be seen, but the company recently dropped a tease for his arrival, and this time without a QR code in sight. On Twitter, WWE's account shared this image of a shadowy man in a forest with the caption, "Sights and Wonders," before quickly deleting the image. Of course, deleting the image made fans all the more interested in the Uncle Howdy tease, and some pointed out that this is coming very close before tonight's edition of Smackdown. Uncle Howdy isn't expected to return alone, as a faction is set to work with him, and a faction had been planned for his brother Bray Wyatt before his tragic passing last year. Could Uncle Howdy be appearing on tonight's SmackDown, and will his faction be with him? Fans will just have to tune in to tonight's show to find out for sure. One name fans expected to be a part of this faction is Alexa Bliss, who has obvious ties to Bray Wyatt, but her name is not on the list of talent expected to join Uncle Howdy. Instead, it'll be Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis, and Bliss's old tag team partner Nikki Cross who are in, but a recent post from Alexa has had fans talking. On Instagram, Bliss shared a photo of herself from the 2023 Royal Rumble event where she faced Bianca Belair in her most recent match for WWE. Bliss included the caption, "I see your eyes, I know you're watching me," which some believe could be a statement directed at Uncle Howdy himself. It was after her loss to Belair in January 2023 that Howdy appeared on video screens and asked Bliss if she felt in control, and we'll have to see if Alexa indeed has a role with what's to come. On this week's NXT, Jordynne Grace arrived in the gold brand as the next challenger for NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez, and the two will face off at Battleground. This was certainly a shock to fans as both WWE and TNA had been able to keep her arrival a secret, but how exactly did the Knockouts champion's arrival come about? In an interview with Fightful, Grace shared that the two sides have been talking for months, and 3 weeks ago, serious conversations started about how to use Grace in WWE. While there had been talks about Grace for some time, it was only last Sunday that she was given the official approval to go to NXT and make her debut for the Gold brand. In an effort to keep her surprise a secret, WWE had Grace arrive just 30 minutes before her segment, and she was rushed into a reserved section so nobody else would see her. All of WWE and TNA's efforts paid off as Grace's appearance shocked fans, and fans can expect to see much of the Knockouts World Champion on the road to NXT Battleground. Grace's appearance has opened the forbidden door, or as her new shirt calls it, the prohibited portal, and it's no surprise that others are looking to get in on the fun. When a fan on Twitter said that Xavier Woods should appear for TNA, this got a response by the New Day star, who has two particular goals in mind if he goes through the portal. In his response, Woods said his goal is to win the TNA World Tag Team Championships with Kofi Kingston, and said he also hopes to create a song with the always popular Joe Hendry. Hendry's songs have been a hit, with his theme song even reaching number 4 in the iTunes charts in the US, and in his response, Hendry said he was 100% serious about a collab with the New Day. Woods worked as Consequences Creed in TNA for years before coming to WWE, and could we soon see him return to the Impact Zone? Time will tell. Over to AEW now, as the company has been around for 5 years now, and while it was once universally praised by fans, the discourse surrounding AEW has changed in recent years. Falling ratings and backstage issues around a time that WWE business has never done better has led to a shift in fan perception of AEW, and now Tony Khan has weighed in. Speaking to CBS Sports, Khan was asked about the decline in AEW's live attendance and the overall negativity that his promotion often receives. He said, "We've pulled some of the biggest gates in the history of pro wrestling in the past year, set attendance records in many cities, but I think the nature of being AEW and the nature of online discourse and all these things coming together, there's always going to be people trying to chase you down and talk about the cons instead of the pros." While some fans have had valid criticisms against AEW, there are those who try and exaggerate matters, which understandably is a cause for frustration with the AEW president. But what do you think? Are there some who exaggerate the issues in AEW, or should Khan do more to turn things around? Let us know down in the comments section below. We've got some unfortunate news regarding WWE Hall of Famer Afa now, as the Wild Samoan is set to undergo another back surgery this coming Monday. Afa previously went under the knife for his back in March and underwent aortic valve replacement this month, and we're wishing him the best ahead of this latest surgery. Now in 2021, Brooks Jensen joined WWE and was assigned to NXT, and the son of Bull Buchanan has been part of the Gold brand ever since. Up until last December, Jensen had been teaming with Josh Briggs and Fallon Henley, but now it looks like Jensen's time with WWE has come to an end. On Twitter, Jensen shared his booking information and told fans, "You know how it goes," with many taking this as a sign that Jensen's time with WWE has come to an end. Jensen didn't state that he'd been released or that he'd even left, but that's what many fans believe, and it's been close to 3 months since his last match on TV. That match on the March 12th episode of WWE NXT saw Jensen lose to Obafemi, and while it's not confirmed yet, his time as a superstar may have already come to a close. In July of last year, mere weeks after winning her first title in WWE, Sonya Deville suffered an ACL injury that ended her title reign, and the MMA alum hasn't competed since. Deville only recently returned to WWE TV in a backstage segment with Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, and this week shared more about her ACL injury. Speaking on the Insight podcast, Deville said at the time it happened, she knew something was amiss, but was able to finish the rest of the tag team match she had been working. She added, "I limped back, I got in my rental car, went to my hotel and tried to pretend it didn't happen. I told myself it's fine, it's a sprain. Then I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and I fell face first into the wall." What made this situation even worse for Deville was that it was her first major injury in WWE and just so happened to come just as she was finding her groove in her first title reign. Now Deville is healed up and back on TV, but she still hasn't wrestled yet, and she'll no doubt be hoping to avoid another setback like the one she suffered last year. Amid the excitement of this week's NXT, Charlie Dempsey was part of a segment and talked about the need for structure within the No Quarter Catch crew. This promo comes after Drew Gulak was removed from the faction last month, with the explanation given that the D'Angelo family had taken care of the technician. Whether Gulak is sleeping with the fishes or not, the group is now missing a member, but that could be changing soon for the No Quarter Catch crew. Fightful Select has reported that there is a belief that Dempsey's comment will mark the return of William Regal, who will serve as a manager and mentor for the faction. Though not addressed on WWE TV, it's hardly a secret that Dempsey is Regal's son, and there has been discussions for several months about Regal being a mentor for the group. Since returning to WWE, Regal has appeared twice for NXT, with one of those segments being in a confrontation with the faction that had fans excited at the time. The other segment saw Regal appoint Ava as GM, and would you like to see more of the British legend on TV as the No Quarter Catch crew's mentor? Let us know in the comments. It was back at the Royal Rumble that CM Punk suffered a torn triceps injury that has kept the former WWE World Champion out of action, but not off of TV. Since then, Punk has continued his feud with Drew McIntyre, and a match is expected, and such a bout could be happening soon, going off a recent video. On social media, Punk shared a video of his intense training session, and the former WWE and AEW World Champion sure seemed able to work his triceps as he pressed various buttons. On Twitter, Drew McIntyre reacted to the video, and with the use of his 3 laughing emojis, he clearly found Punk's training to be hilarious. Punk and McIntyre have both threatened to get physical at Clash at the Castle, and it'll be at the Scottish event that McIntyre will challenge World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest. McIntyre may be laughing now, but it could be Punk who has the last laugh in Glasgow, and a match between the two could be coming sooner than you'd think. At the inaugural Marigold Wrestling event, WWE prospect Giulia suffered a wrist injury during a tag match that has put all plans for her on hold for the time being. WWE is still hopeful that Giulia will compete at NXT Heatwave later on this year, and on Twitter this week, the Stardom alum shared that she has been discharged from hospital. Giulia is expected to have a massive role in NXT, with one source saying that her impact will be greater than Asuka when she was a part of the Gold brand from 2015 to late 2017. For now though, Giulia will have to work on healing from her recent surgery, and we're wishing the former New Japan Strong Women's Champion a full and speedy recovery. More from Vince McMahon now, as when he stepped down from WWE earlier this year, fans speculated what could be next and whether he would want to return to the wrestling business. Unlike January 2023, McMahon doesn't have the sway over WWE to force his way back into the company, so if he wants to own a wrestling company again, it'd have to be something new. On his What Happened When podcast, Tony Schiavone was asked about McMahon starting a new company and said that the billionaire should be enjoying life outside of work. That may be easier said than done, considering McMahon is a known workaholic, and it has been reported that he plans on returning to the business world after the Janelle Grant lawsuit. With that said, it is not believed that McMahon plans on returning to the world of wrestling, and fans are intrigued to see what kind of business he will create away from the squared circle. Of course, all that hinges on how the Grant lawsuit and the Justice Department probe goes, so while McMahon may have plans, it may be some time before he sets up a new corporate office. This year's WrestleMania was the first showcase of the Immortals without McMahon's involvement, and the show was a roaring success, especially from the business side. Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics reports that WrestleMania 40 Sunday set a new record for the highest ticket sales ever for a single-day event, with $18,413,325 made for tickets for the day. WrestleMania 40 Saturday also made a fortune for WWE in ticket sales, and when you factor in merchandise and much more, this year's show was a very profitable weekend for WWE. And we're ending today with Kurt Angle, who is rightly celebrated for his wrestling skills, and later this year, the Olympic gold medalist will add another accolade to his collection. Angle has been announced as the recipient of this year's Lou Thez Art Abrams Lifetime Achievement Award by the esteemed Cauliflower Alley Club. Kurt will accept the award at a ceremony in Las Vegas in August and will join recipients including Shawn Michaels, Mick Foley, and Ricky Steamboat. Kurt Angle had an illustrious career in WWE before having great success in TNA, and we're offering our congrats to Kurt ahead of the ceremony later this year.